And we should probably write this in the document too. I can try and help.
Oh, no, that's fair. I can always go back and sort of add that post hoc anyway. It's the 15th. We're recording things for the deep dive. 15th of August, 2022. And it's just Michelle and I today, and we are going to be triaging toolbox stuff. Not necessarily prioritizing things, but at least sort of scoping out, trying to scope out all of these different issues and see. And so we could at least at a glance be able to be like, this is a bite-sized thing. This is a UX scope needed. This is a back-end scope or like development scope needed, etc. I like starting.
Give it a shot.
Let's go. I like starting from the back first, because things get forgotten quickly if you don't. Okay, tweak styles of three-part birth date field to fit in better with stock simple styles. I guess the first question is this
that's
still...
a UI thing or a design thing?
Yeah. We're going to be making a lot of these because we don't have enough labels. And those things are in the way. So let me create a new one.
You can hit edit labels at the bottom.
That's fair.
Or you can create
also just let's make it. UI is probably fine. I'll make it blue.
All right. Design. Visual design or something.
Yeah. Design stuff. Usually CSS.
Right.
So does it exist now? Where did it go? GitHub, I made this label. I clearly want to use it on the same page. Make your JavaScript refresh. Okay, so yeah, it's UI. I guess the follow-up question is not too... Doesn't look like it's actually too different there. I don't know how much you remember about the state of just the birth date field / three-part date. I was going to try and pull that up on development really quick. I am not logged in here. That's unfortunate.
You want to freeze the...
Yep. It's just going to take me a while to log in because I got to move flash drives around.
Different computer?
Not different computer, I just have to move the flash drive around because I have a flash drive with all of my password manager stuff.
Okay.
But sorry, I think you may have been saying something before I started trying to start it.
What are we going to see about it?
Just what it, like, if first, if it is still sort of valid. Because that was an issue from a year and a half ago. And so, yeah. And so if it is, like, at some point we had already done this, and it just, we don't remember, which is a thing that I feel would happen.
It does often happen, it's true.
And then, so I guess while we're looking at it, we could also just collectively have some additional ideas to what Quentin had written there. Just so the next person doesn't pull something up and then, or pull this up and then isn't sure what to move forward with.
Sure.
Okay. I am logging in.
Yeah.
Playground. Will take another 2 minutes to actually install. Do I have a toolbox? I don't. I have too many of these anyway.
Oh, it scrolls now. That's nice. I was gonna do that at some point. Lost
Yeah.
it along the way.
Jonathan is pretty good about it. If you mention something, he'll at least keep it in the back of his mind until like 2 months later, when it will just like 20 billion things you've mentioned will have been implemented. So
Yeah.
that's always kind of exciting.
Yeah.
Cool.
Pretty amazing.
Toolbox. Main's fine. Oh, and I guess another thing we could check is
There's a
where.
bunch of branches, I think.
Yeah, because I have seen some of these branches. We've got main, we've got 3-part date data type, move date, share hidden, where's part time, and multi-line
I think
deduction.
these are just stale branches, not all branches, but yeah.
Oh, thank you. I think there's only 6, Bill.
Okay.
I do hate. I want to look at them all of them by default. GitHub is the worst defaults. I think these two were related to the income module that you had been working on a lot. I don't know
Where's
which.
part-time? Yeah.
Yeah, because I remember those pop. I remember seeing those pop up when you were working on that. I don't know what move date and share hidden are. I would guess that this one is maybe some sort of refactor for a 3-part date. I'm not entirely sure.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm just gonna see if I can pull up the demo really quick. Where's date demo?
3 parts date.yaml, I think.
Yep.
We'll do it.
Well, that might be the. Oh, it is. Yeah. Okay. Okay. So it looks not that bad. We have a default. We've got.
I mean, month, day, year aren't all centered. I don't know if they're meant to be. Oh, I guess they are. They just didn't look at. Okay.
Yeah, I think they are. Month looks weird because month is centered for the whole thing, but there's an arrow taking up about a quarter of the thing of the input. Quentin specifically was said padding and size the input is a bit off when on the same screen as other inputs. Specifically, text looks a little too large. So that would actually be if we did.
Just some other.
Yeah.
You don't have to do any of that, but yeah.
Yeah, I know. Just I like to make it clear.
Okay.
Especially if that's the point, is to try and compare it to other things.
Yep.
Text looks.
There's a little difference.
Is there? I actually can't tell any of it.
Maybe put it actually right above it. Maybe there is, maybe there isn't a difference.
Okay. I was going to check maybe the drop down might be the thing where it most looks different. So I might try and add one of those really quick, but I can't, at least it's just because there's only a label there.
But we want this to be next to, maybe add the ones in between, because we want it to be right next to the birthday.
Good point, yeah. So this.
I don't know. I'm not sure I can tell. Maybe it's a bit different.
Padding and the size of the inputs is a bit off. Text input looks too large. Maybe illusion caused by where the placement is. I'm gonna go with, I think it's illusion.
Try typing May.
Yeah, I just had the same thought.
It does look the same.
The size is the same. No, it looks the same to me too. So I think it might be just the fact that these are centered.
Maybe. Yeah.
I'll at least take a...
We can try and align them left and see if it looks better.
Yeah, that's fair.
Inspect them. I can tell you where to align them.
Yeah. Sorry, I didn't even think about trying to inspect. That's easy.
Text
just
line
that,
left.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a bit weird. I don't know if I like that more because it looks like it's almost going over the edge of the text. Although it's not. I think it's perfectly aligned, but it does look kind of off a bit.
Yeah.
Yeah, it also doesn't help out the paddings there. But I don't know if you want it to be at the same. So what's this padding? 6.
Yeah, it's
9.
gonna look weird then too, though.
Like having it aligned like that.
Still a little bit off, I think.
That is off. Why is that off?
You need one more pixel at least. But I think it might be EM anyway. I'm not sure. Oh, I see. You were looking at the...
Yeah, so I'm looking at the padding here, which... Oh, there's... Okay, that's just because that's the select. There's... I don't know how... This is where I get confused because CSS never seems to actually apply to, like, form inputs. There's an extra space there where the padding's the same, but for some reason the actual space that we're adding...
the border... I mean, first of all, there's the padding inside the option. Not just... So if you select the option, which is May...
Is that how this stuff works? Oh. Okay, I never knew this.
Select May.
Additional 4.
There might be, but there might just be extra padding because it's text or...
No, okay, that makes sense. I didn't know that you could just add styles to options individually. Yeah, that was right. Thanks, Michelle. Yeah. So we can't align them up exactly like this, but I don't know if you want to. Yeah. It looks a bit
weird in some ways.
Yeah, I think
no great choices in design.
Yeah, I feel like it would mostly be a little confusing because it looks like if you're just glancing at it, it looks like it's all stuff that you have written or something like that, and it's easy to be confused, like just at a glance, like, oh, which is the thing that I wrote here? Did I write May or did I write month? Even though it's obviously like you wrote the month, you wrote September or something, but at a glance you're not sure, or at least your brain wouldn't be sure. I don't know. Okay.
Yeah.
So at least, okay, we know it's still relevant, but we know it's also, there's no...
we can say that from our perspective, it looks like it's just a visual illusion, but we're not sure what to do about that.
Yeah. I also can't figure out how to screenshot on Windows, and so I was going to add a screenshot of it just on the issue itself, which at least for me always seems to help issues, stuff like this.
Yeah.
But yeah, at least it's a visual illusion. The text size, i.e. the text size is the same. But we don't know how to, but it still looks, but it still looks weird.
Easiest way to screenshot in Windows.
On a laptop keyboard, though, is the thing. And there's now like 3 different ways, and one of them I can't access because this is a Suffolk computer.
So you don't have print screen?
No. Well, maybe I do. No, I don't.
PRTSC.
I do not.
Okay.
Oh, wait, no, I do. It's just on a shift button, which is confusing.
And if that'll take the
Yeah.
screenshot of the whole screen.
No, that's input language switch.
It'll be inside of your computer's pictures folder.
That actually works. I'm amazed.
Good.
I don't really care at all. I can crop it later.
Okay.
Yeah, from our specialist visual illusion, it still looks weird to us. Jumped it to
Align text left.
Yeah. Or text align, I think. Right?
Sure. Yeah. I mean, that's the CSS thing. Text align is correct.
Okay.
That's the wrong syntax, but okay.
I need to add another colon there. That's the right one, right?
Yeah. And then add the same padding. But neither of them looked good, right? I think was the point that we tried both.
Start that squad. Cool. So still valid for sure. I think that's fine for now. We don't have to like assign anything, but just having a bit more information on what we need to do. Scoping things a bit more. Okay. Add optional as a synonym to show if def for.
I think I was told to make this.
Okay.
Like, I can't imagine me making this.
Yeah.
By my, like, just coming up with this and being like, optional, yeah.
That's fair.
Maybe, though. I mean, I'm more fond of aliases than a lot of other people are, so.
I'm trying to do optional and then. I like the bite-sized. I would say this is
bite-sized. You have to add it to Jinja.
So you have to add it to Jinja. So you got to know Jinja. But I think bite-sized in terms of it's like a line long.
Is it? Okay.
We can delegate directly. So from my understanding, is, I mean, I don't want to keep going off into rabbit holes, but from my understanding, you can, at least in what DocAssemble currently does, is you can just define Python functions and then sort of export those, some of those to Jinja, which then like lets you then like, essentially call a Python function in Jinja. But it's a special thing that you have to do on setup, and it's not like you can do it in an interview. I think it can only be done when you like start up DocAssemble, or you do it in like a separate module, maybe. But essentially,
okay. Well, it's bite-sized for some people. That's the, I think.
That's fair.
Good enough.
What would be a better term for bite-sized? But bite-sized in that it's like the final product we expect would be like 4 lines of code.
Yeah, I think bite-sized is like you can take this and complete it in like a short amount of time. But I think that might be true for people who know how to do this in DocAssemble, whatever. Is it an upstream problem? I
think it's something we could we might be able to try and do in this one. I guess that's the actual research here that we need to do. Isn't worth it just writing most of this out. The final product would be 3 to 5 lines of code. what I'm typing again. I cannot spell.
Do we still feel that this is a good idea to have this alias?
I don't.
Like, it doesn't seem like that much of a gain.
That's the hard things with stuff like this is I can never tell, and I don't, as like someone who knows docassemble probably too well, I don't really think it's not super needed, but it's also not like I don't think I'm the person to be like, yeah, we don't need this because I understand docassemble too much.
Yeah, it may be worth just saying we're not sure that this is still needed, or
Yeah. I feel like I'm trying to think. I feel like it might be useful because it would be in terms of essentially like we already think of fields as being required or optional, and so it makes sense if you have that. That's the understanding that more people would have, and more like authors coming in would understand that, and so in their documents, if we just were like, oh yeah, if you have a required field, you can use it directly. If you have an optional field, you can use optional, and that would be a lot quicker for people to snap. Is the thing that I'm like, I think that is probably why we suggested it in the first place, but I don't know if we just suggested that offhand or if we had someone who had used it would be like, oh yeah, this would make more sense if we could do this.
Yeah, that's fair.
If this can be, or if this needs to be upstream or not. I'm gonna write probably not, given someone suggested it go here, but we need to check that. How much of a benefit it would be isn't clear. Does that feel like a good summary of our discussion? Ooh.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, and I can't think of another. I don't want to make like a ton of labels that then no one ever else uses. So
yeah, I
if
don't
this
think
is
that deserves its own category.
Okay. Add proper ARIA to birth date data types. Interesting, because I actually haven't. We don't use this in a ton of production forums, and so I haven't seen it.
If we examine the one that's there,
yeah,
we can see if there's ARIA on it.
Oh, am I sharing my sound?
Oh no, I don't know. You'd have to try.
Give me a sec, because I do want to. I think if I have screen readers set up, and it would be perfect if I could just also share my sound. Multiple participants can share simultaneously. Can share all. Okay, no, that doesn't let me do anything. Maybe it's a streaming thing. It doesn't let me do that when I'm already streaming. Okay, I'll just share back this screen.
Listen and let us know.
I will read things out loud. This is how you start NVDA in Windows. Did you hear a ding-a-ling?
No.
Okay. Go. Okay. So it's now on this. It's now over like my login there, which we can then, and it just reads out that. So now just read out the title, read out the font name, And it read out the text field, which is just all the other stuff. Okay, this one said this one. Okay, so now I've gotten to the month. This one says combo box September selector. Okay, I'm going back. Yeah, so it's a combo box September collapsed. So it knows that it's a combo box. Oh, it doesn't like my mouse. Stop reading my mouse. So it reads the month right. Edit has autocomplete selected 14, which is not right. That should probably say day. Edit has autocomplete blank. Okay, so those two just say edit instead of like year or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
Doesn't read the
it's not
text
reading
above
month.
it.
Yeah, it's not reading month or anything like that. Okay. Okay, got it. Okay, I'm gonna have to
That's a
do that a lot.
shame.
It's really hard for me to like think while it's constantly reading. Okay, yeah, so we do need the ARIA there. I can do that. I have been doing a ton of ARIA accessibility stuff, so I'm also just going to assign this one to myself.
You can write what you found as well.
Yeah, so this says input box, but no indication. Yeah, confirmed. The same issue on NVDA on Windows. Yeah, what exactly it said.
Well, it's a similar issue. It doesn't say which field it doesn't mention month, day, or year, even though.
That's fair, and that's the thing is I think we need ARIA to. I think that was the original issue. Is we need ARIA to say like if it's month, day, or year. The exact details of which screen reader you're using is going to change all the time. Like if you're using Windows or Mac or
right, but it does mention all three of the input boxes. So we'd have to test this separately.
That's fair. Okay. Okay. They were able to tab across. Is this the other question? This is still the 3 date. There's a different birth date one? Or is that now the same one?
Well, if you go to the next page, like one of these things is a birth date. Like
okay.
Like, yeah, birth date today is valid. See where it says that?
Oh, okay. And those are this is the part I'm trying to just figure out because I'm not super sure. So 3-part date and birth date. Also, okay, we'll start it up again. Because I was looking at this one and not the next one, so we'll probably have different screens.
They're based on the same thing, so it shouldn't be that different.
Okay, they are based on the same thing. Okay, yeah, it's okay, you're right. Go away. Okay. Okay, yeah, so you're right. It is for both. I will tab across the video for 3-part. But it doesn't. It's a combo box, which it's not a combo.
Red is a combo box.
Yeah. Okay, that's fair. Putting a question mark there because it probably shouldn't be. But it doesn't read. Okay. Comment. Got.
It's misspelled. Yeah.
Yep. I'll take purple-ish. Click on it.
Sure.
My thing is in the way. There we go. Because I do like. Oh, I need to refresh again. Get up. Okay. Because I like having the accessibility to go back and look at all the accessibility stuff that we have added in different repos.
Yeah.
Okay. Create a version of yes, no, unknown suitable for displaying the words yes, no, and unknown. The current function is designed to use checkboxes and won't really work for something like a review screen. Would be pretty helpful.
What does that mean?
That's a good question. As Lily said, what is the current function?
Yeah, maybe that is meant for the Weaver.
Well, I think it might be a function in here. Might be. There's a lot of random ones. Yeah, there is a yes, no, unknown function in here. So first things first, copy these lines to here. Okay, a quick look takes a var name, condition, a unknown display text, and a placeholder. Returns unknown if the value is none rather than false. Helps with PDF filling yes, no, maybes. And then it's simply if yes, then it returns, or if condition is true, it returns the name of the thing. If condition is
returns none, the value of the thing.
Sorry, you're right, the value of the thing. If it's none, it returns unknown, and if it's false, it returns placeholder, which is
0 for some reason.
0. Which I'm trying to figure out how this
unknown if the value is none rather than false. Helper for PDF filing with yes, no, maybe fields. I don't know. I mean, and what's the issue?
So he said making one that would work for review screens is the issue, because right now it simply displays checkboxes, which I guess I don't know what the unknown is in checkboxes. That's not a thing we do. I'm kind of confused there. I guess I'm not super sure of what the current thing is supposed to be displaying, but it would make sense to just have like a similar function that doesn't use var name at all, and just given condition unknown, we don't even really need placeholder. It would just say yes, no, or like the unknown text could still be there.
Weird. I don't even know. I don't know what it means. I'm lost.
That's fair. I think I do need an example use. Do we have an example use? Can we test this at all? Moment of truth. Is it tested? No, it's not. It's defined exactly once. Second moment of truth.
As far as GitHub knows, but
as far as GitHub knows, yeah.
Search very well, but yeah.
The second moment of truth, we use it. Okay, so here's an example use, which actually is probably useful, and I am going to like copy paste this link into here as well. Now, okay. So that can display really weird. Whatever. So you say other party gross income without knowing what the PDF looks like. We turn it into that. Oh, okay. So it's given. Okay, so given like the name of a field that we know exists somewhere, or that thing could, and where the field could be it could be none for some reason, or it could be an actual value. But it's all pretty much always going to be none or like some actual value we want to print. You give it that, and then you give it like some other checkbox. I think that okay, that's what he means by a checkbox. That was what I was not understanding. So this would be the equivalent of this checkbox. Like if this checkbox is true, then you can look at like court date or something like that and send it out. Otherwise, if the checkbox isn't checked, we would just want to print unknown because the user never saw that field. Which, and so I think
well, that'd be if it's undefined.
What do you mean if it's undefined?
If they never saw the field, then it's undefined. It's not.
Yeah, and I think that's sort of the purpose of it, is because you don't want to have to try and like do a defined check on if you know that gross income doesn't exist, you don't want to have to do a defined check on it, especially if you already have a Boolean that's like the same thing of like, oh yeah, if they don't know it, gross income is going to be undefined, so just use this instead. So I think that's why this exists. And then whatever the value of gross income is, it just turns it into like it turns into like that amount of money. That's why placeholder was 0, because we've probably only used this in the 209A. Use it in the 209A. We have reserved keywords for it. It's in the toolbox. It's copied in virtual court. That makes sense
because we're not using anymore.
Yeah, that would make sense because it was probably there first, and we copied it to the toolbox separately.
Yeah.
Also, in integrated testing, I don't know what that repo is. I'm gonna look at that later.
That's something that I had that doesn't exist anymore. It was a copy of, I think, a lot of MA Virtual Court or something.
Okay. If we don't need it anymore, I might at least
get rid of that repository. Yeah.
Okay, I'll archive it, or I'll public archive it for now, especially if we're not using it. And then if we really don't need it, I can delete it.
Yeah.
And it's not being used in the appearance E file, because that was a thing that I guess Matt wrote at some point. Okay. So we use it in exactly one location, that is the 209A. It's and it's solely being used for
income,
like, which is why placeholder is 0.
Which, if it were being used for checkboxes, you'd want to be able to say like maybe it should be part of the income module, honestly.
That's fair. I think yeah.
Like if you were going to use it that way, it'd be like yes, no, unknown income, like, you know.
Which is fair, but that might be a bit out of scope for this particular issue, because this particular issue is, oh hey, let's make one that is just yes, like prints out the word yes, no, maybe, which I think would be, or yes, no, unknown, which I think would just be like taking this Boolean value on a review screen and then like have the label for the review screen be like user knows their income or something, or user knows the other party's income, and then we would translate this Boolean directly into yes, no, or unknown.
Yeah. Maybe you need to have like an argument that's like a type argument with a default of number or integer or something.
Well, with the type.
What?
What would the type argument do? I'm confused there.
Well, if it was a type of Boolean, you'd return yes, no, or unknown. And if it was a type of integer, you'd return 0 the number or unknown.
I see. Okay. I think we could do that without an extra argument. We could just do Python like is type
But if
of.
we don't, I guess so. If we don't have the number, I don't know. All right. If we don't have the actual value, then I guess we just always return unknown. I guess that.
I see. Well, yeah, we would still. I guess we would still need the name of the value. Yeah. Like this. But at least this part, we don't. Yeah, and the condition, and I think we would. Yeah. So maybe we do need both. But yeah, because we still need the. Yeah, we still need the. We need just this string name because we need to. That's how you call like.
That's how you get the value if you need it.
Yeah. Or and yeah, and you can't just pass in the value because it might not exist.
Yeah.
So
this is the whole point.
Yeah. Okay, I think we could do. There's definitely a way you could do it. It just wouldn't be. It wouldn't have the same. I think besides for the name of the function, which I think we sort of both agree that this function is not super well named. It would have this similar name of the function, and it would just have a different arguments. Is what it would likely would be. I think. Does that sort of make sense to you? Like
maybe.
Okay.
Maybe. I'm not sure that that's particularly clear, but yeah. I mean, different default arguments, you mean?
I think we just mean different arguments.
Okay. All right.
I guess it could do the same. It could do things with the same arguments, but it just wouldn't be using the name of the variable at all because we wouldn't want to get the name of the variable.
I guess, but you would want to get the name of the variable because you need to get the value of the variable if it exists. If not, you're ignoring it, but...
Well, that's what I'm saying, because I think it looks... I'm reading this suggestion that Quinn has as only displaying yes, no, unknown.
But you'd still have to get the value if the value exists, right? If the condition is passed, you need the value of the variable, which is going to be either true or false.
We don't, because we would just... I think his suggestion is we would just show yes. Unless I'm misunderstanding that part. Like, that's the part I don't know if I... Like, maybe it's just not clear.
If it's true, you'd show yes. If it's false, you'd show no.
And if it's unknown, you'd show unknown.
And then, if the condition isn't passed, then you would show unknown.
Yeah. So when would you ever show the value of the variable?
You would need the value of the variable in order to know whether you would show yes.
No, that's what the condition's for, right? Because this
the condition is whether it exists or not. So let's look at the function.
Yeah, right? This is the function.
The example of where it's being used.
Yeah.
The example of where the function is being used.
Oh, this one?
Right, so let me get my annotations. If not, don't know op income, right? Yes. So this is a different variable. So if knows if it's true or false, right? If user knows value, then this value is either going to be true or false. So you'll have to check this value. This is like cushioned. It's 2 layers. One is whether it is true or not.
Is that
And the
Is that
other
what this
is
is?
the actual value of the thing.
Okay. Okay, I'm understanding where our differences in understanding are now. It's that I don't know if I don't know if whatever is in the string, like the value of the string, is also true or false. The value of the string is something completely different usually. Like in this case,
Well,
it's
it
just a number.
says check boxes. Yes, no check boxes. I think. Yes, no, no
No,
check
so
boxes.
he said that it's currently designed to use in checkboxes, and I think what he means is that because that was also the confusing part of trying to read through this. What he means is that, so example, we have this show hidden fields checkbox on this screen. If you check it, it also asks the court date and when you lost your first tooth. And so if the user progresses through without having checked that, then the value of court date and the date they lost their tooth are going to be not defined because they're never defined.
But so you would say the condition would be show hidden fields, whatever the
Yes.
variable name for that, right? The condition, that would be the condition, and then the variable name would be this value down here, would get you this value down here. So if
Yes.
this were true, then you would check the value.
Okay, but that's what I'm saying. What do you mean by check the value? Because the function
Give
as
the
it is
value of
right
court
now,
date.
yes, that's what the function's doing right now. But Quentin was, and the issue itself is asking for a new function that would just show yes, no, maybe. Like it would never show like a value, the actual value of the variable, if I'm understanding what he's asking for. Unless maybe that's just the issue. It's not clear what exactly we're
I
asking
think
for.
that's not what he's asking for, but I could be wrong. I think he's asking for something that would show yes, no, or unknown. Or like,
yeah,
how
that's
would
what
you ever get no or unknown? Like that checkbox is either yes or no. There's no third unknown thing. Like
yeah.
at
So
the
maybe
example we looked at.
yeah. But but it's specifically showing the words yes, no, or unknown.
But how would you get to all three of those? Because there's only two options for a checkbox. What does he mean work in something like a review screen? What does he mean, a review screen?
So my understanding of that, how quickly can I write a review screen?
Oh, jeez.
So question, I think I need a question here.
That's misspelled, by the way.
Thank you. And I don't know what you even add off the top after that. Because it's not that. You have like a whole bunch of weird labels and fields and stuff.
I think it's edit button, and I mean we can insert something from the example blocks possibly.
Oh yeah, I do forget that this exists because it's so weird. Okay.
That might be. I don't know where it is though.
Documents, tables, fields. Is there any events that I passed up? No. Functions items. There we go. Genius. I do forget that this exists. It is kind of nice.
Yeah, me too.
Okay. I'm getting rid of some of these because we don't have any of them defined. But one thing that we will have to find is so it's one of the things that are being hidden. So a court date and show fields is the condition. Oh, you said your name was court date.
Sure, why not?
I'm just going to delete everything else about it. And also this one. Doesn't work.
I don't think so, because I don't think you added a button.
How do you add
You
that?
go to the review screen, like on the last page.
Oh, okay. Action button URL, but it needs to be in Mako. And then URL action. Let's hope it works. There we go. I was about to say, am I going crazy and these aren't displaying like they normally do?
HTML button. Maybe it's just the action button.
Action URL. Didn't do that. It might be. I'll try just action button after this.
I don't think you need to fill that one in because it's not required, but
You're right. I think that you are.
I think it's maybe it's action button.
HTML is what we have. This makes me feel it anyway. HTML is what we have for the. Going crazy. This is why I can never write docassemble, because I have to remember 20 million things. Action button. It is HTML. Get out of here.
Well, I wasn't sure where to put the HTML, so
Yeah.
hope that it does us much good.
That's just me not liking this interface. So it doesn't show up at all when court date it's not. That makes sense. And if I check this, and now court date is defined, your court date is February 1st.
Well, you need to edit.
There we go. So yeah, court date takes us back, and that's the actual date.
Yeah, I don't know what he means by yes, no, maybe on the review field.
Sorry. Okay. Yeah. So this whole thing was just trying to get the review screen up there. My guess is that it would be something like this, where like yes, no, unknown, new function, the new thing that we're trying to write. We'd pass in court date, and we'd
pass in condition.
Yeah, and then we'd also pass in the condition, which is show fields. And this will work if I add a little def here.
I think you need to make it code. But
I do, thank you. Name condition. I don't know, return. This is the dummy variable of what this would do. What do you mean that was never closed? It was never closed. They were right. I should not have doubted the Python interpreter. Oh, it doesn't like that. It's not. The reviews won't grab things. So, fuck. Gotta add another little mandatory block.
thank you.
Get out of here. I'm starting over.
Yeah.
Okay. We're born, it should not show up, yes. Why did I do that? I'm just going to make it Joshua.
Well, it should be unknown is what it should be. I mean, it should just show true or false.
Yeah, it would show none, actually. It should show none. Oh, no, yeah, sorry, you're right. True or false.
It should show.
And that won't show up in there. Okay, so I guess, but I think, okay, what I had been trying to do is that you
I
would do
think we
something
just
like
need
that.
to ask
and
what
show.
he means by the review fields. Yes, no,
That's fair.
maybe review fields. Like,
That's fair, yeah.
otherwise we're just guessing at what. Do or address, you know.
Mhm.
Yeah. Well, that's a bit passive aggressive. But just like
Okay, fair, yeah, sorry.
what is the review screen? What does the yes no maybe look like on a review screen is basically the question, right?
Yeah. Okay. That is fair. I'm going to tag this as question. Got a question.
And question mark at the end.
Thank you.
Just grammatically.
Yep. Cool. Progress. It's going.
That's right.
An improved interface to Google Place. Custom data type that allows searching for place by name. This is Google things that I do not know anything about. As in, I don't know the API, so I don't know any scoping parts of this. I do think it goes under enhancement because it's a brand new thing.
Or a feature or something.
Yeah.
I
Enhancement's
would
the best
say,
one.
okay.
There are never any good
I
ones.
think
And feature feels too close to actually enhancement, but
yeah. I mean, I'll say that what I see as enhancement is an improvement of something that already exists, but I can see how it could also mean new features. So
yeah, the default specifically says new feature or request, so
okay. There
I think
you go.
we've been using it like that in other repos. And it might be it might be worth it or not. I don't know. To make it split it up. I don't want to feel like it would.
Not something to debate at the moment, I think.
That's fair. I don't feel like I have anything directly to add. Do you know anything about the Google Place API?
I just we all completed at the same time. Would also use the input that displays the main text key of the results. Custom data type. No, a custom data type that allows searching for a place by name bias to place type, e.g. a school board of health. I think he's saying like how you look for a gas station when you're on Google Maps and then you can pick among gas stations.
Yes, I think that I agree. That's sort of what he's trying to do. So instead of having to search, instead of just auto completing the address when you type in the address, like being able to search, I guess it would probably be more for the school. It'd be like you'd search like Edward Everett School, like elementary school, and it would give you the whole name of the school as well as the address. It feels kind of useful, also kind of broad in terms of people can search anything and then get anything. But I guess people can search any address and get any address, so that's fine. But mostly, I feel like there are more likely to be name conflicts with just names than there would be addresses. And so people would search something and then click something that looks like their name, but is like actually in Illinois.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know.
Still useful. I don't know enough to actually comment about it. So
yeah, I agree. Ditto.
okay, backing out. Standard language selection component. This one does look very detailed in terms of how we would actually try to handle it.
It's actually not that complicated, at least if it's not like, I would say it's an enhancement, and
For sure.
it's basically it. But I remember implementing it at some point. Other than the other language. Oh no, this isn't to choose a language, like to choose it to be displayed in a certain language, to say I want the Spanish translation.
Mm-hmm.
This is to pick your language that's the correct language to have at court or something.
Yeah, so we're not limited to what have we translated things as. It's limited to what are the valid languages in the world, or that the court would accept, or something like that.
Yeah,
and those are a lot more complicated.
Yeah.
Trade-off being very comprehensive and quickly finding the language they speak. It's a good question, and I do not know the best answer for it.
Yeah. I don't know. This, in some ways, seems more like I guess it just provides some YAML for your.
Yeah, that's the idea. Well, you're going to say it's more like a different package?
Like an AssemblyLine thing.
Yeah,
because it's like one of these, like, quote unquote basic questions. Yeah.
I think it is. I think it is very much just a basic question, but it's a basic question that we can sort of just inherit from the toolbox. Like, there's nothing about the question that would need any other part of AssemblyLine, really. So
Sure.
I don't have any other sort of additions on it, unless slow to load. I would be curious about how slow it is to load.
Yeah.
Because I feel like anything that we do, we would want something that would support more than like 10 or so in another box. And so I do think we want a combo box at the end of the day.
Even though we just recommended against combo boxes.
We won't soon. I think we're recommending now because it's broken, but I do have fixes for it in place that I just need to actually do. I guess that could have been one thing we could have done, but it's not really. I'd rather test it first.
Okay.
On a few more things to make sure it's all in, but it's fairly all in. And honestly, there's only like one behavior that I'm changing, which is the tab behavior, which should be still fine. Either way, I think that I don't know what I'm going for here.
Yeah. I mean, I don't think there's much to add here. That's all.
Yeah, no, I agree. Not a ton to add there, and that's pretty, at least laid out. It is a larger feature. I guess
skipped a few, I think, but
we did. Sorry, add some if defined function. You take multiple things, take a source, and then you add them all together. So it's just a list of variable names.
Like if they're defined, just add them all up.
Yeah.
Which seems like a useful thing to me. It does.
Cool. And TBH, I would call this one bite-sized because the code is already right there, and it's a matter of making it nicer.
Yeah, I don't think we have bite-sized yet.
I will add it. because I like it.
Yay.
Can I spell bite-sized correct without saying it? Yes.
Or fixtures. Or fixes. Features.
I'm just going to say small stuff.
Sure, yeah.
Go to first issue.
Sure.
I don't know if that's better.
I've stopped adding good first issue actually because
you get randos.
I get like,
who don't really understand things.
Yeah, like total beginners, and it's like I can't explain to a total beginner how to make a module, like to join our organization and doc assemble and make a module and stuff like that. So maybe we shouldn't use good first issue.
Yeah, okay.
But sorry, I've changed my mind.
I still feel like it's a useful thing to have, but you can get rid of it. Public JavaScript function for more advanced comparisons. Every checkbox item is empty in a particular named checkbox field.
I see stuff that you would use in JS show if, except for it's just too complicated to do.
Yeah.
If there isn't already an existing function.
That's fair.
I'm not sure how you'd add it to the JS show if stuff, but
yeah, I mean, I know there are some JavaScript defined, like docassemble defined JavaScript functions, like get all variables that do complicated things. So I guess the idea is if it works well, we can submit some of these upstream and just add to that list of other defined things.
Yeah, I don't know how we would do it not upstream, I guess is what I'm saying.
Good point. I don't know the order of JavaScript execution, but we can define our own JavaScript in interviews, right?
Can we?
I mean, we can. That's how we do data types, and that's how other things happen.
Well, that's custom data types, but I think we could define a script that could be inserted into a page, I suppose.
Yeah, that is, sorry. I said this like that was a question I didn't know. That is a thing I know for sure you can do.
Yeah, I was just trying to think like,
you add it just with features JavaScript, and that is added to the page. I don't know, that thing I was saying is I don't know when it's executed, so I don't know if the show if stuff tries to execute before it loads your personal JavaScript. If it doesn't, I think you're right, and it would have to go upstream. If it does, then you can just add it into like a toolkit.js JavaScript file and then load that.
Sure.
So I'm just gonna postpone it. Seems like it seems like a good idea. I just don't quite know how to start on it.
I mean, we could ask for what specifically do you. So can we list the functionality we want? Right.
Good call. Yeah. Grammar. Okay. Okay. That one pushes through a bit more. And I do probably have to drop off soonish. By soonish, probably like nowish or a bit over.
Well, we could call it here, I think.
That's fair. I don't think there's any clear gains for the rest of these, honestly. So
I can't look that fast, but I will trust you.
Yeah, I think a few other of these are bugs. I'm gonna put this one as a bug since it does look like a bug. But it looks like, yeah, a few other of these are bugs. Everything else is sort of similar stuff to what we have been doing, just small enhancements. So, okay.
Sure.
Cool. That worked.
All right, that actually did. Surprised myself.
Yeah.